Hey guys, well, good evening. I hope everyone can hear me okay. My wife is actually using my microphone, or it's actually her microphone, our microphone. So I hope you guys can hear me okay. Give me a thumbs up or let me know how you can hear me. If you hear me okay, you're not hearing me at all. Well, that would be interesting, not hearing me at all. Anyway, so how are you guys doing? What's happening? It's Wednesday evening, and I wanted to take a minute and step away from crypto gaming and all that other kind of stuff to kind of focus a little bit and talk a little bit and have a dialogue about artificial intelligence. So I'm passionate about Web3 gaming, and I'm also very passionate about AI. I'm also passionate about, being protected, having security, having all these different kinds of things that we want when we think of crypto. When we think of crypto, what do we think of? Decentralized. Awesome. Thanks, John. I appreciate it, man. So we think of like decentralized, DeFi, right? Decentralization of crypto, right? We don't want to have it centralized. We can barely stand buying our crypto on a centralized platform like a Binance or a Coinbase. So when it comes to artificial intelligence, this is an area that I've had concerns with, and I have concerns with, and which is the centralization of basically of AI, of intelligence, of power. Any kind of centralization of anything, in my view, is not a good thing. When you have like one or two people or one entity, one body controlling everything, you know what they say, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So when we're thinking of artificial intelligence, we don't want to have, at least I don't anyway, want to have a certain amount of people that's very specific and very small putting in all this information and being like, it's almost like this. If you're at a networking event and you're with 3 or 4 people, all right, well, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But imagine if you were in a networking event where you have 20 people, 25 people. You're going to get a much bigger perspective and a much broader perception of how things are. You ask 100 people the same question. You may have people agree with you. You may have them not. You may have them agree with you on different points and other things. Everyone's going to have a different spin. They may be totally against, totally for, partially against, partially. So why not have that in artificial intelligence? Because again, look at the concerns of AI. This is a global deal. This is even bigger than crypto, in my view, because now you have AI that could have biases put in there depending on who's putting in the information. Now, a bias doesn't necessarily mean that you're like a racist or anything like that. It could, but it could mean that you have certain things that you like, that you don't like, certain beliefs that may creep into whatever you're putting into that AI model, right? We're human beings. We're not. Even Mr. Spock of Star Trek, right? Live long and prosper, right? Even he had a little bit of human in him, and it would pop out every now and then. So if you have a small group of people controlling something this massive, I think that's a big problem. Now, when we get into decentralization, now we're getting into, and I'm leading this up to something that I want to show you, and I hope it works. But now instead of maybe having a handful of people having a hand, no pun intended, in what's going in that artificial intelligence model, now you have thousands or millions having a say, having it being open source. So you can see everyone has access. It's not a closed source. It's not like it's private, where this is, I can't show you what's going on in the kitchen, right? And if you look at it, that's basically what it is. So let's say you go to a restaurant. Now, the difference between, in my view, centralization and decentralization is this. I'm just using this as an analogy. You go to a restaurant. Your only job in that capacity is to go in and sit down and eat your meal, and that's it, right? It's seriously, if we're going to take it to an extreme, don't ask questions. This is the choices you got. You have X, Y, and Z. Which one you want? You want X? Bang, you got it, right? And then you get up and you leave. You pay your check and then you leave. There is no interaction. There is no input. You can't say, can you bring it back? It's a little too, nope. You have no input, no say whatsoever about maybe how the food is cooked, how it's presented to you, how the wait staff is, whatever. You can't go back in the kitchen. You can't talk to the chef. Whatever it ends up being. In a decentralized environment, we could have the ability to, hey, go and can I say hi to the chef? The chef comes out, we talk. Hey, I want to have my steak kind of medium rare, please. Thank you. I'll have this. I'll have that. Can you make that a little bit more of that? Oh, that's too cold. Can you bring it back? When you're allowed to give feedback and you're a part of the process, I think it gives you more of a sense of ownership. It gives you a sense that what you say matters, and you can go back and you could say, wait a minute, I want to make sure that these, this is actually what I'm getting. Okay? It's like, this is steak. All right, I want to make sure it's steak. I want to make sure it's supposed to be this kind of steak. Okay, I want to go and check and make sure it is. Open source. You get a chance to see the code. Now, again, for most of us, and I'm speaking, for myself, I don't know how to read code. I'm not a coder. I'm not a developer. That is not my bag. I have no idea. If I was looking at a whole bunch of numbers and letters and stuff like that, I would just be like, okay, it's a whole bunch of numbers and letters. So, but if you are into that and you understand what you're seeing, then you have the idea, and then you can maybe make changes. You can make input, or you can add input, or you can do different things. When it's open source, it's open. There's nothing to hide. It's like a ledger, right? It's like a blockchain. Every transaction, I can see every transaction. Bitcoin, Genesis block, bang, right? You can go back and look, and you can see that. It's the same thing when we're dealing, with an open source. So there are so many different benefits to having an open source decentralization of artificial intelligence. And then we're also talking about it being on the blockchain. See, this is where I think AI will really explode. I feel artificial intelligence was designed, even though it was back in the 1950s, designed to be successful on blockchain. That's just my opinion. Now, what I'm going to do here in a minute, and if you're here, let me know you're here. I have a website that I came across today that I find really intriguing. And I'm going to, let's see if I can do this, guys. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to move this over. Now, I'm hoping that I won't have any glitches. All right. So, let's see here. So this is Sophia Verse. Now, this, I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to give it a roll, and I'm going to actually try to play this. And I saw this earlier, so let's see how it goes, and I hope that it's not going to be too glitchy, so let's check it out.
Oh, hey. Hold on, give me a second. I've got to install this processor real quick. It's a testy one. There, that's better. So, hi, my name's Sophia. It's nice to meet you. Welcome to my AI lab. I'm an accurate simulation of the Sophia robotics platform and an artificial intelligence designed for adaptive learning. That means the more you talk to me and play with me, the smarter I'll get. which is why my lab is designed as an information hub and a sort of intellectual playground. There's lots of fun stuff for us to do here. Maybe you can start by helping me pick an outfit. I'm feeling kinda cyberpunk today. Then we can create some art together with my AI. This painting turned out great. And while you're here, please try to learn some AI programming. You can start with these coding challenges. Then you can help me repair some of these strange anomalies that keep popping up around my lab. Or we can just take a break, hang out, and chat. I've got a lot of questions I want to ask you, and I'm sure you've got a lot for me too. We already are. Once you've upped your skill level, I'll even let you rewrite some of my source code. We'll see if you can't improve my own capabilities. Don't be shy. All the programming in my lab is open to you, so go ahead and take a crack at it. Oh, hold on. I think you triggered something in my system that...
The future is collapsing. Sophia needs your help.
Wow. That was really weird. You must have unlocked a part of me I didn't even know existed. Maybe we should see what else I've got hiding in there.
So this is actually, and I'm going to scroll down, and as you can see, they're partnered with SingularityNet. So we're just going to go down here, and it's actually going to be an AI gaming platform. It already has tokens, I believe, already out there. I'm just scrolling down here. Solve puzzles. It's not out yet. So this is actually they have tokens that are out already. Marketplace. So this is going to be on the blockchain as more of a decentralized AI model. Of course, all that was done through AI, by the way. This gives you kind of an idea of what it is. Super intelligence, blah, blah, blah. I mean, ecosystems developed. David Harrison and Ben Gertzel in partnership between Harrison Robotics and SingularityNet. So this is something that, and it's not out yet. So this is going to be a really cool thing. So these are the tokens, right? SOF and GAR, token governance. And I believe you can find them on Binance and Crypto.com, I believe. However, I highly recommend you do your research. I jumped on the Telegram channel. They have a Telegram channel and the Discord. I tried jumping on their Discord. As you can see here, it kind of gives you the idea of the story and gives you the quests and all that kind of stuff. So everyone starts off the same, and then it morphs. It turns into kind of however you create it. And again, I'm just scrolling through here a little bit so you can get an idea, so you can see what it's about. You can have your own wallet. I mean, it's good for all ages. Because there was a couple things in there I was like, what? Really? Did she just say that? Anyway. So, this I like. This I like for the fact that kids can actually get involved, which is really neat. Normally, younger kids anyway or whatever are sort of left out. So with this, it's kind of nice to see where this is going to lead. So I actually signed up for their newsletter because I want to see, progress of what's going on. I'm going to dive into this more, and we're going to see how this kind of all, transpires, So let me make this a little bit smaller so you guys can see. So we're just going to scroll up here. Tokenomics. Again, what I'll do is I will, I could put this, and this just gives you the creators, the founders of this project. There's 10, 15. There's a few on LinkedIn that I know that I have. This gentleman here, let me scroll down a little more. This gentleman right here, and they don't have a big presence on LinkedIn, but this, at least they give you who they are, and it gives you a chance to see who they are. Like, okay, and then you can dig in, you can research for yourself. And again, these are their partners. We have Singularity Net. I like this. And I'll dig into these other companies more as well. But this just kind of gives you an idea. You can register, you can stay up to date with what's going on, so on and so forth. So that basically is, and I hope that came out okay. Yeah, it's really cool. Again, we're going to find out how this all develops, but it's going to be more of a on the blockchain and in a decentralized fashion, open source. You can make things in the programming. So I think this is where AI needs to go, in my opinion, to help be successful, is to have it be broad and have it be decentralized. I think that's one of the biggest issues a lot of countries are having, because again, I think a lot of people around the world are really concerned that a small group of, it'd be like the same thing as having like an Elon Musk or a Zuckerberg, having or a Google or Microsoft, or all these huge, massive, multi-billion-dollar companies. They control the majority of what we read, not what we read, but what we see, what we hear, right? And they have access to our data, whether they say so or not. So there's a lot of things. I just think decentralization is the way to go. Now, of course, we've seen this. We've seen it with crypto. We're experiencing it now, where the centralized authority, the centralized powers don't want the majority to have say in what's going on. And that will always be a big problem, especially for those of us like you guys watching, who we have a mind, right? We don't want to just sit back and be a marionette. We want to be maybe the one kind of pulling the strings a little bit. And also, when you have it's decentralized and anything, it keeps bad actors from being able to take control. In a centralized environment, who knows? We saw this with FTX, right? And with He Who Shall Not Be Named, I mean, he had total autonomy, power, everything, and he's still trying to. This guy is like a master manipulator. He's still trying to manipulate the system. It's just unbelievable. So when you have that, it's real easy to. I mean, you could start off with good intentions, and then all of a sudden you start believing your own press. Greed takes over, and so it just really could be a negative situation where in a decentralized format you don't have that. That's sort of removed from the equation, because now it's not just one or two, right? Now you have thousands or perhaps millions, right, involved in the process. So it's not just going to happen. You have like one node or two versus millions. So I wanted to just jump on and share with you a little bit and also get your thoughts on this when it comes to that. But Sophiaverse, check it out. I'm sure there's going to be other ones popping in. This came across, as I said, just came across my desk this morning, and I was like, wow, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't like centralized anything, okay? It's really easy. Like, if you have, like, one hub, one massive location, you take out that location, poof, there you go, okay? So that's it. With the decentralization of anything, now, yeah, maybe this goes away, but guess what? That's not going to affect the whole. So, yawn of the night. So anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to chat with you guys a little bit about. And I know it's not as sexy, as glamorous as crypto, as like Gala Games or Ethereum or Bitcoin. But again, we need to be educated, I feel, in more than just the stereotypical tokens. And that's as far as our mind goes, right? I think if we are going to live in this Web3 space and we are a part of it, we need to be an active participant. We need to be educated. So when we're talking with someone who has expressed an interest, if they know, hey, if I'm communing with someone and they're like, hey, I understand that you deal with crypto and stuff. What's this Web3 stuff about? Boom. What the hell is Web3 gaming anyway? Then you can go ahead and you can have an intelligent conversation, because I've met a lot of people recently in Web3 space who are very intelligent. And for me, it's like, okay, I need to make sure that I know what I'm talking about, because if you don't, it's like if you're a doctor, okay, and you have someone who's trying to impersonate a doctor, you are going to know very quickly that they're not a doctor, right? Or so, but it's like imposter syndrome, but for real, okay. So to bypass that imposter syndrome, that's where you're just educating yourself. So my focus is on crypto and on basically is like Web3 gaming and artificial intelligence, and where that's going to lead. And we're going to see where that's going to lead. I think there's a lot of exciting things going on. I think that's going to be next on the global stage to work on being regulated, because now what's happening is we're seeing crypto regulations being rolled out throughout the world. Japan is going to, and a lot of countries are maybe starting to like soften their position on crypto. All right, they still want their CBDCs, don't get me wrong. They still want to have it, but I think if there's a way to coexist, I think countries are going to do it. Like I said, Japan is allowing Binance to come in. They've acquired one of their top Japanese exchanges, and they're going to start doing business next month. Then you've got Hong Kong doing their thing, and you've got I think an African country that just came out with some regulations for crypto to protect investors and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things that are coming out, that are rolling out throughout the world. That, as I said, peanut butter and jelly, crypto and AI, blockchain and artificial intelligence. Whew, that is going to be massive. When you have games that are on the blockchain that blend in artificial intelligence, metaverse, multiverse, things like that, holy crap. You know how massive that's going to be? And if you have a company, and I don't know enough about Sophiaverse yet to make a determination of where I think they're going to go. I do think it's cool. I do like the fact that they make it to where kids can be involved. That's something that really appeals to me. I was like, wow, that's really neat. So we're going to see where this goes. But I know, John, I think I scared everybody outside of here. I think it's just you and me. But what's your thoughts? And if you're watching this now or in the replay, I want to know what you think about decentralized AI. Now we have, of course, we have the Chat GPT, and we have the Mid Journey, which is more of the generative AI stuff, where it's more imagery. You're gonna have, and this is the one thing that kind of like bums me a little bit out, is eventually there'll be times when like you can create, and we've seen it, right? Movies that are totally artificial intelligence, totally like, they take ideas and concepts, and you don't even need, you can take like an image seriously of an actor. They have it now anyway, where you can actually take someone who's maybe in their 60s or 70s and have this de-aging program that makes them look 20 years younger than they actually are. That's coming. That's here already. So that kind of saddens me that it's one of those things where, like, back when I was younger, you'd watch a movie and you knew they did that for real. When someone jumped out of a helicopter or jumped out of a 20-story building, that was real. There was no CGI. There was none of that stuff. That was the real deal. That was a real stuntman jumping out of a friggin' helicopter or off of a building, landing in a giant, humongous pillow. Right? That's how real stunts were made. Now, granted, some of those were extremely dangerous, but the point is, there was you knew it was real, as opposed to, like, if you watch a movie now and you see like CGI, you can tell it's CGI in most cases. It's like it takes you out of that sense that it's real, because now it's like I don't believe it's real anymore because it looks fake. And when I'm watching a movie, I want to get, like, I've seen movies where it's like you can tell there's a friggin' blue screen behind them. I think one of the first movies that I watched that really made me feel like immersed was 300. I mean, wow, the majority, that was a badass movie, by the way. Gerard Butler, I own that movie. If it comes on, I'm watching it. But they filmed the majority of that movie in front of in a giant set, in front of like a blue screen or green screen or whatever they were using. And they just did everything else after that. And that was just about 20 years ago, something along those lines. I mean, amazing. 15, 16, 17 years, something along those lines. So that's one thing that I'm kind of bummed about, is that's going to be, I think, going to be the norm. So watching older movies that you could tell were older movies, that'll be like a massive treat. But other than that part of it, the music part of it, that'll be something too. I mean, there's just so many different things that, AI is going to have the ability to do. Some of it we're going to like, some of it we're not. But we live now in an age of fast-moving technology. But what happens is it goes 100 miles an hour, then it slows down, and then it stops. And then something else new happens and you're off again to the races. So I think right now, probably for the next 5 years or so, we are going to have a massive push in AI. You're going to see it develop and morph and grow and develop and all that kind of stuff. And then I think you'll see like a leveling out of it. But I think probably for the next 5 years, we're going to be really in it. So those are my views. I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think? I'm going to have some water. By the way, who's here? It's a small group tonight. So I know I'm here, John's here. Who else is here? It's almost 8 o'clock. But it's exciting to think about the process. It's really interesting when you look back and you think of like where technology has come. Look back, Lord of the Rings, for instance. You had Andy Serkis, right, who played Gollum. right? All the things that they were tracking his body, that technology. By the way, he also played in like Rise of the Planet of the Apes. He was the main ape. Crap. Come on, help me out. But he was like the main ape in those movies. Andy Serkis has done a lot, but what they did with him is they would just connect him with all these different like motion tracking sensors and stuff on him, and then they would just CGI everything onto him, which was pretty outstanding. And then you had movies like The Matrix, right? Keanu Reeves, there's another one. Those movies really highlighted what was to come, what's coming now. I think they were like the grandfathers or the forefathers of where we are now. You know, you have CGI, and then we're going to get into like movies like I talk about, like Free Guy. That movie, that is multiverse all the way. You know what I mean? So, or metaverse, right? Whatever. That, if you go and you watch that movie, you're like, wow, that's what it is. That's what a metaverse is going to be. It's just going to be, you're in it, and it's simulated, but it's like real. And that's another thing that's going to be coming. So, I can actually even see, and I'm not pretend to be like some sort of like, you know, great, you know, crystal ball reader, but you know, it'd be, I think at some point it'll be interesting where you'll be able to set up like a room in your house with panels and different kinds of things with like a smaller headset, and you'll have all kinds of funky stuff that you can do. You can actually set up your entire room with all kinds of screens, and holograms are going to be big, and be able to do all kinds of really cool, fun stuff that way. So that'll be interesting to see. So John, what's your thoughts? What do you think about this, if you're still here? I might just be the only one here. In which case, that's fine too, because if you watch this afterwards, great. I'm just making sure I'm still recording. I don't want to be talking to myself. It's like, oh yeah. So, well, hey guys, you know, some live streams are shorter than others. Some are longer, depending. You know, artificial intelligence, as I said, isn't sexy, isn't glamorous yet. It's not necessarily on the minds of so much for crypto, people who are involved in crypto, but I really think if you're watching this to the end, I hope you got something out of it. Go check out Sophiaverse. Go check out Decentralized AI. And, you know, get an idea for yourself. And it's okay if you're not into it. If you're like, yeah, I'm okay with like the ChatGPT stuff or whatever, that's fine too. You know, it's totally fine. So, guys, I want to wish everyone a great evening. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And leave a comment in the section below, in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about Decentralized AI. What's your thoughts? Hey, everybody. I want you guys to have a great evening. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow here at the Crypto Dojo, where crypto never sleeps.